Anything ever happen on set or during a scene that was embarrassing?
I think some of the funniest stuff that's occurred usually involves lube. When you're on set, there's a lot of lube flying around, you know? I mean, it's just the way it is, you know? I mean, it's sex. There's going to be a lot of lube. And it never fails. It gets on the soles of my boots. And traction when you're trying to fuck somebody in the ass with lube on the bottoms of your boots and your feet start flying out from under you and stuff is not fun. And it looks ridiculous. Have that happen multiple times, and that's one of the little tricks is people don't realize this. That's one of the reasons there's always baby wipes on a porn set, is because baby wipes break down lube really, really well. So I'll be sitting over there wiping the bottoms of my boots with the baby wipes, or wiping my knees with the baby wipes, so that I can actually get some traction to keep getting the fuck motion going. So, you know.
I have a quick question. Your scenes that you filmed, have you ever had one that's taken a really long time, or have all
actually
kind of like been?
All the directors that I've worked with have said that they're one of the quickest and smoothest situations, that they've filmed. It's one of those, when I get in, I do it, and I'm done. Yeah. It's, I get in, I give it my all. I mean, a lot of the time, a lot of folks don't realize that, to produce, say, a 30-minute fantasy scene for a movie, we'll film for 4 to 6 hours.
Right.
Most of the quickest I ever did, we finished one in 2.5 hours.
Oh, that's awesome.
Needed one take on everything, didn't have to go back and redo anything. And it was one of those too, we would just go, and this was one of the ones that Steve directed. And, he'd hit the camera angle that he needed, and then we'd just keep going, and he would zip. He's this little speed demon, when he's got that camera going. And he'd zip around and hop from the other side and get that camera angle and then pop back around this way, And so we just jetted straight through it, and it was an awesome scene, and he was really excited about it. It's kind of fun because I think you can keep that intensity up a little better, if you don't have to draw it out and draw it out and draw it out.
All right, so tell us your most memorable cum shot for you.
Oh, goodness. Well, let me use two. First cum shot ever on film with Johnny Ryder, where we finish and Tony looks at me and goes, "Could you have aimed any better?" Because the big glob is just dripping right off Johnny's chin, and he was like, "You couldn't have aimed that any better." And of course, I'm being the expert, that was the whole intent. But no, for me, that was a really fun, really intense one. And then also, my first facial that I got in High Voltage, where I got a huge load all over my face, which again isn't a bad thing for me. I don't mind that, and it was pretty fun. But so those are probably the two that were the most memorable.
Can you name the best and the worst about doing porn?
Best thing about it is that it's fun. You get paid to fuck. You get a little bit of fame. You get a little bit of a celebrity status, that kind of thing. And it's completely different than any other kind of job you're ever going to have. Worst thing about it is that there's still a taboo attached to it. In the grand scheme of the world, some folks still look down on having sex on film. I've always been a very liberal person. I've always been a very sexually free person. And so to me, it's just another expression of my sexuality. It's another expression of what I enjoy doing and that kind of thing. Not something to be hidden, not something to be scared of, or anything like that. And so, you run into a little bit of that negativity where people just assume, things about you because you do it, because of that taboo. So,
is there anything that you would change about the porn industry, or is there something that a lot of people don't do in the porn industry that you think should be done?
Actually, that kind of goes back to something that I was at the gym, and a fan came up and started talking to me. Had read an article about me in a magazine. Was like, "Oh, read your article. Loved hearing about that." and everything. And I was like, oh, thank you. He goes, you know, he said, you know what the big thing that I took away from that interview with you was? And I said, what? And he goes, you're open about everything. And I think that openness is something that if more people in the industry, you know, kind of actors, a lot of actors do it, but they don't want people to know they do it.
Right.
You know, that sort of thing. So I think, I mean, I don't have the energy or the I don't want to put any effort into hiding anything, you know. So what you see is what you get. I throw it all out there. I do it, and I celebrate the fact that I do it. And so I think if more folks just talked about it openly, like any other job, or you know, like something else that they do. You know, yeah, I do this, and I love to read, and I love science fiction movies. It's just one of those things that's a facet of who I am and what I do. You know, and people I think appreciate that because I'm really open about it. And I think if more people were more open about the fact that they do it and didn't treat it as something to be secret about, that people wouldn't stress about it as much.
You mentioned the fan coming up to you. How do you handle unwanted advances from people or from fans?
You just kind of deal with it, you know, like you would anything else. I mean, having been a go-go dancer and a stripper off and on too, you learn how to politely make sure, no, it's not appropriate to try to stick your finger up my butt, you know, or yeah, you know, or no, I would prefer not to go back to your hotel with you. You know, you learn ways to gently let people know where boundaries lie.